All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack an invisible but incredibly powerful force in the tech world, anxiety. We're going to explore how this pressure can derail even the biggest names and most revolutionary products. And we're going to use a super recent case study right from the heart of the AI boom.
So let's just dive right in with a question for any leader listening. When you make a critical decision, is it based on a clear long-term strategy, or is it more of a reaction? A reaction to that invisible pressure, that nagging feeling that you're just about to get left in the dust.
See, in the high-stakes world we live in now, anxiety isn't just a personal feeling anymore. It's become a collective force. It's in the boardrooms, it's in the product meetings, and what we're going to see is how it can be both a powerful engine and a really dangerous trap.
All right, so let's dig into this double-edged sword. On one hand, you've got the fear of losing relevance, which can absolutely push teams to innovate. But then there's this immense pressure for these huge, world-changing announcements, and that can lead to some pretty hasty choices. And this is what's so fascinating, right? How the same energy can have two totally different outcomes. Ambition and a drive for results, that's fantastic. But when that ambition starts to curdle into just a fear of losing, it often leads to rush decisions that put speed way ahead of substance. And ultimately, it starts to eat away at the one thing you can almost never get back, your users' trust. Okay, so to see this trap in action, we really don't have to look very far. A super high-profile incident from the company that, let's be honest, is the AI revolution for a lot of people, well, it gives us the perfect case study.
So it all kicked off with this massive promise. OpenAI, the name on everyone's lips, announced this huge leap forward. They were moving on from ChatGPT-4 to what everyone thought was going to be the next big thing. The hype was real. The expectation in the air was for something absolutely spectacular, a total game changer.
Well, the reality didn't quite match the hype. The actual experience, it just fell short of the spectacular expectations that had been set. And it got to the point where the CEO himself, Sam Altman, had to go on social media and issue a public apology right after the announcement.
And this side really highlights the massive gap that opened up. The expectation was this revolution that would cement their place as the market leader. The reality, it was kind of underwhelming. And that led to some serious user frustration. And you know what that does? It swings the door wide open for competitors like Gemini and DeepSeek, as users started looking for other options. So what on earth happened here? Was this just a simple product misstep? Well, the source material argues it's something way deeper. It's this cultural thing, a phenomenon that's got its claws in all of big tech.
They call it the syndrome of the stage. Think about it. It's this idea that comes straight from Steve Jobs' legendary one more thing moments. And it has created a culture where every single update has to be a spectacle. And that pressure to create this huge spectacle, it often becomes way more important than what's actually in the product update.
And look, this is not just an OpenAI problem. Not at all. It's basically an industry-wide condition. The biggest names in tech, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Meta, they all play this game. All of them have built this culture around the mega launch. And the danger is it creates this ever-widening gap between what's promised on stage and what you actually get as a user.
Now, the fuel for this whole syndrome, it's anxiety. But, and this is the really tricky part, anxious thinking is a master of disguise. It doesn't walk in the door looking like panic. Oh no, it shows up sounding perfectly rational, like a smart, strategic decision. So you might hear it as the sense of extreme urgency, framing a launch like it's this fleeting, now or never window of opportunity that you just cannot miss.
Or it shifts gears. It disguises itself as this need for constant motion, for constant newness. The focus drifts away from solving a real user problem to just, having something shiny and new to show off, whether it adds real value or not.
And then there's the big one. It weaponizes fear. This is probably the most powerful form of anxiety, right? It drives decisions based on what the competition might do instead of what you know you should do based on your own solid strategy. Okay, so how do leaders actually avoid this trap? Well, it all starts with recognizing these patterns and then learning how to manage this anxiety effectively, and maybe even turn it from a liability into an asset. So the source material lays out 4 pretty powerful antidotes here. It's all about fighting that urge to rush. It's about building trust by, promising less and delivering more.
staying laser-focused on the user, not the stage, and remembering that a leader's calm. Man, that sets the tone for the entire team. It's contagious.
And that really brings us to a fundamental truth here. At the end of the day, the most important job of any product leader isn't just to innovate. It's to be a manager of expectations, and maybe most importantly, a guardian of user trust. Because that is the one asset that if you lose it, is the absolute hardest thing to win back.
All right, let's wrap this up with the final critical takeaway. It's about taking this invisible pressure we've been talking about and turning it from this scary thing into a real strategic advantage. Look, the goal is not to eliminate anxiety. I mean, that feeling can be a really useful fuel for energy and ambition. The goal is to tame it, to channel it into a consistent, reliable strategy. Because real, lasting trust, that's not built in one flashy moment on a stage. It's built slowly, day by day, update by update. It's all about consistency. And what that really means is shifting your team's energy and focus. You got to move away from planning the big show, the grand spectacle, and get back to the steady, reliable, and yeah, sometimes unglamorous work of delivering actual value to the people who use your product. It's simple, really. Less stage, more delivery. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. In your own work, with your own team, what is truly in the driver's seat? Is it a clear, confident strategy? Or are you just letting anxiety take the wheel?